All right, fitness fam. Grab your protein shakes and settle in, because we're about to dive deep into the world of creatine side effects. Now, I know what you're thinking. Side effects? Boring, but trust me, this isn't your average snooze fest. We're going to break it down, myth bust, and maybe even throw in a dad joke or two. So, let's get this creatine party started. First things first, water retention. Oh boy, where do I even begin? Picture this, you've been taking creatine for a week and suddenly your muscles look fuller. You're feeling yourself, thinking, dang, I'm getting jacked. But hold up. Before you start flexing in every mirror you pass, let me hit you with some truth bombs. That initial fullness? It's mostly water, my friends. Creatine is like that clingy friend who just won't let go of water. It pulls water into your muscle cells, making them look bigger and feel firmer. But here's the kicker. This can lead to some mild bloating or puffiness. You might feel like a water balloon for a hot minute, but don't panic. This is totally normal and usually subsides as your body adjusts. Now, I know some of you are already reaching for your phones to cancel that creatine order, but hang tight. This water retention isn't all bad news. In fact, it's part of how creatine works its magic. That extra water in your muscles? It's like a little performance-enhancing cushion, helping you push through those last few reps. But wait, there's more. I've always wanted to say that. This water retention leads us to our next side effect, weight gain. I can practically hear the collective gasp. But before you throw your scale out the window, let's break this down. Yes, you might see the numbers on the scale creep up when you start taking creatine. But remember, a good chunk of that is just water weight. It's not like you're suddenly packing on pounds of fat. In fact, in the long run, creatine can actually help you gain lean muscle mass. So that initial weight gain? It's like an investment in your future gains. Now, I know some of you are sitting there thinking, but what about actual fat gain? Well, my fitness friends, creatine itself doesn't make you fat. However, and this is a big however, it can increase your appetite. So if you find yourself demolishing entire pizzas post-workout, that might be where those extra pounds are coming from. The solution? Keep an eye on your overall calorie intake. Simple, right? But hold on to your dumbbells because we're just getting started. In our next segment, we're going to tackle the, shall we say, less glamorous side effects of creatine. I'm talking about the stuff that happens in the bathroom, folks. Digestive issues. The topic no one wants to talk about, but everyone needs to hear. So are you ready to dive into the world of creatine-induced tummy troubles? Trust me, you won't want to miss this. It's going to be a wild ride. Pun absolutely intended. Stay tuned, fitness warriors. This is one potty talk you actually want to listen to. And we're back. Hope you didn't run off to the bathroom during our break, because ironically, that's exactly what we're about to discuss. Buckle up, Buttercup. We're diving into the wonderful world of creatine and digestive issues. Let's start with the granddaddy of all tummy troubles, stomach cramps. You know that feeling when your abs are so sore from yesterday's workout that laughing hurts? Well, creatine-induced stomach cramps can feel a bit like that, except it's not because you did 1,000 crunches. These cramps can range from mild discomfort to, oh my god, did I swallow an angry hedgehog levels of pain. But why does this happen? Well, it's all about how your body processes creatine. Sometimes, especially if you take too much at once, your digestive system throws a little tantrum. It's like when you try to stuff too many clothes into your gym bag, something's gotta give. The good news? This side effect is often temporary and can be mitigated by starting with a lower dose and gradually increasing it. It's like easing into a cold pool instead of cannonballing in. Your body appreciates the gentle approach. Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, diarrhea. Cue nervous laughter. Yeah, I said it. Creatine can sometimes lead to looser stools or even full-blown diarrhea. It's like your digestive system decided to go on a water slide without your permission. This usually happens when you're taking too much creatine or not drinking enough water. Remember how we talked about creatine being that clingy friend that holds onto water? Well, if you're not drinking enough, it starts pulling water from other places, including your intestines, and boom. Instant water slide. The solution? Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Seriously, you should be best friends with your water bottle. And maybe ease up on the creatine dosage if things get too slippery. Last but not least in our trifecta of tummy troubles, nausea. Some people report feeling queasy when they start taking creatine. It's like your stomach is saying, whoa, what is this stuff? I'm not sure I like it. This is often due to taking creatine on an empty stomach or taking too much at once. The fix? Try taking your creatine with food, or split your daily dose into smaller amounts throughout the day. It's like introducing your stomach to creatine gradually at a dinner party instead of forcing them to hang out alone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Great, so creatine might make me bloated, gain weight, and give me digestive issues. Why would anyone take this stuff? Hold your horses, fitness friends. Remember, these side effects don't affect everyone, and they're often mild and temporary. Plus, the benefits of creatine? They're pretty darn impressive. But we're not done yet. Oh no, we're just getting warmed up. In our next segment, we're going to tackle some of the more serious potential side effects of creatine. We're talking kidney stress, liver function, and even dramatic pause, hair loss. Are you ready to separate fact from fiction? To dive into the science and emerge with the truth? Then stick around, because things are about to get real. And maybe a little hairy. See what I did there? Welcome back, Creatine Crusaders. I hope you've recovered from our deep dive into digestive dilemmas, because we're about to tackle some even meatier issues. We're entering the realm of serious side effects, the stuff that makes headlines and keeps your mom up at night worrying about your supplement habits. First up on our hit list, kidney stress. Cue ominous music. Now, I know some of you are already clutching your lower backs in sympathy pain, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. The idea that creatine is hard on your kidneys is one of those gym myths that just won't die, like the notion that squats are bad for your knees or that you can spot reduced fat. Here's the deal. Your kidneys are tough little organs. They filter your blood, balance your electrolytes, and even help control your blood pressure. They're like the unsung heroes of your body. And guess what? They're pretty darn good at handling creatine. Now, I'm not saying creatine has zero effect on your kidneys. When you take creatine, your body produces more creatinine, a waste product that's filtered out by your kidneys. This can cause a temporary increase in some markers of kidney function, which might freak out your doctor if they don't know you're taking creatine. But here's the kicker. For healthy people, there's no evidence that this actually harms your kidneys. It's like when your heart rate goes up during exercise, it's a normal response, not a sign of damage. However, and this is a big however, if you already have kidney problems, it's a different story. In that case, you'll want to have a chat with your doctor before jumping on the creatine bandwagon. It's like how you wouldn't start training for a marathon if you had a broken leg. Sometimes, you need to address the underlying issue first. Now, let's shift gears and talk about your liver. Liver puns incoming. Your liver is like the bouncer of your body. It decides what gets in and what gets kicked to the curb. And just like a bouncer, it has to deal with a lot of different substances. There have been some concerns that creatine might affect liver function. But here's the thing. The evidence for this is about as strong as a wet noodle. Most studies have found no significant impact of creatine on liver function in healthy people. That being said, if you're pounding back the booze like it's going out of style, taking a bunch of other supplements, or have existing liver issues, adding creatine to the mix might not be the best idea. It's like asking that bouncer to work a double shift and then wondering why he's grumpy. But wait, there's more. We can't talk about creatine side effects without addressing the elephant in the room, or should I say, the hair in the drain. That's right, we're diving into the contentious world of creatine and hair loss. Now, before you start frantically checking your hairline in the mirror, let's get one thing straight. The link between creatine and hair loss is about as solid as a house of cards in a hurricane. But that doesn't stop it from being one of the most persistent myths in the fitness world. The theory goes something like this. Creatine might increase levels of a hormone called DHT, which is linked to male pattern baldness. Sounds scary, right? But here's the catch. The evidence for this is shakier than your legs after leg day. There's only been one small study that showed creatine might increase DHT levels, and it didn't actually look at hair loss. It's like concluding that eating ice cream causes shark attacks because both happen more often in the summer. Correlation doesn't equal causation, folks. So should you be worried about your luscious locks if you're taking creatine? For most people, probably not. But if you're already genetically predisposed to male pattern baldness, it might be worth keeping an eye on. After all, better safe than sorry, right? But hold on to your hats. Or what's left of your hair. Because we're not done yet. In our next segment, we're going to tackle some of the less common, but potentially more serious side effects of creatine. We're talking high blood pressure, electrolyte imbalances, and even the dreaded R word, rhabdomyolysis. Sounds intense, right? Well, buckle up, because things are about to get real. And maybe a little scientific. But don't worry, I promise to keep it as entertaining as a chemistry lesson can be. Stay tuned, fitness fanatics. And we're back, creatine comrades. I hope you've got your thinking caps on because we're about to dive into some of the more complex potential side effects of our favorite muscle-building supplement. Don't worry, I promise to keep things lighter than your last 1-rep max attempt. First up on our hit list, high blood pressure. Cue dramatic heartbeat sound effect. Now, before you start frantically checking your pulse, let's break this down. The idea that creatine might increase blood pressure is based on the fact that it causes water retention. More water in your body means more volume in your blood vessels, which could theoretically increase blood pressure. But here's the thing, in most healthy people, this effect is about as significant as the calories you burn chewing celery. Your body is pretty good at regulating its blood pressure, and a little extra water usually isn't enough to throw it off. However, and this is a big however, if you already have high blood pressure or other cardiovascular issues, it's a different story. In that case, you'll want to chat with your doctor before you start chugging creatine shakes. It's like how you wouldn't start a high-intensity interval training program if you had a heart condition. Sometimes, caution is key. Now, let's talk about something that sounds like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. Electrolyte imbalances. Cue futuristic sound effects. Your electrolytes are like the peacekeepers of your body, keeping everything in balance. They're responsible for things like muscle contractions, nerve signals, and even your heartbeat. Creatine can potentially mess with this delicate balance, especially if you're taking high doses. It's like trying to balance on a seesaw, add too much weight to one side, and suddenly you're flying through the air. The main culprit here is the water retention we talked about earlier. As creatine pulls water into your muscles, it can potentially draw electrolytes along with it. This can lead to imbalances, particularly in sodium and potassium levels. But before you swear off creatine forever, remember this, for most people, these imbalances are mild and easily corrected by staying hydrated and maintaining a balanced diet. It's like how you replenish your electrolytes after a sweaty workout. Your body knows what it needs. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the grand finale of our creatine side effect extravaganza, the dreaded rhabdomyolysis. Cue horror movie scream. I know, it sounds like something out of a medical drama. But stick with me, because this is important. Rhabdomyolysis, or rhabdo for short, is a serious condition where muscle tissue breaks down rapidly. It can lead to kidney damage and other nasty complications. Now, before you panic and throw your creatine tub out the window, let me be clear, the link between creatine and rhabdo is about as strong as a wet paper bag. The fear comes from the idea that creatine might allow you to push your muscles harder, potentially leading to overexertion and muscle breakdown. But here's the kicker, the handful of rhabdo cases associated with creatine use were almost always in people who were doing extreme workouts, often in hot conditions, and often while dehydrated. In other words, it's not the creatine that's the problem, it's the misuse of it. It's like blaming your car for a crash when you were the one driving 100 miles an hour in a rainstorm. The tool isn't the issue, it's how you use it. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Is creatine a miracle supplement or a ticking time bomb? Well, like most things in life, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. For most healthy people, creatine is safe and effective when used properly. But, and this is a big but, it's not for everyone. If you have pre-existing health conditions, especially related to your kidneys, liver, or heart, it's crucial to talk to your doctor before starting creatine. It's like getting a checkup before running a marathon. Better safe than sorry. And for everyone else, stay hydrated, follow the recommended dosage, and listen to your body. Creatine isn't a substitute for proper training, good nutrition, and adequate rest. It's a tool in your fitness toolbox, not a magic wand. But wait, there's more. I really love saying that. In our final segment, we're going to wrap this all up with a nice, neat bow. We'll talk about who should be extra cautious with creatine, some general safety tips, and maybe even throw in a cheesy motivational speech or two. So are you ready to become a creatine connoisseur? To separate the facts from the fiction once and for all? Then stick around, fitness friends. The best is yet to come. Welcome back, Creatine Champions. We've been on quite a journey, haven't we? We've laughed, we've learned, and we've probably scared a few of you half to death. But don't worry, we're about to bring it all home with some practical advice and maybe even a few more dad jokes. You've been warned. First up, let's talk about who should be extra cautious with creatine. It's like a most wanted list, but instead of criminals, it's people who should think twice before jumping on the creatine bandwagon. Number 1 on our list, people with pre-existing kidney or liver conditions. If your kidneys or liver are already working overtime, adding creatine to the mix is like asking your grandma to run a marathon. It might be possible, but it's probably not a great idea. Next up, pregnant or breastfeeding women. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I want my baby to come out bench pressing. Trust me, I get it. But the truth is, we just don't have enough research on how creatine affects developing fetuses or infants. So for now, it's best to err on the side of caution. Your baby will have plenty of time to get swole later. Last but not least, people with heart disease. If your ticker isn't ticking quite right, you'll want to have a chat with your doctor before starting creatine. It's like asking for directions before going on a road trip. Better safe than lost in the middle of nowhere. Now, for everyone else, let's talk about some general safety tips. Think of these as the 10 commandments of creatine, if you will. Except instead of being carved in stone, they're delivered by your favorite fitness YouTuber. That's me, in case you were wondering. First up, thou shalt not overdo it. More is not always better, folks. Stick to the recommended dosage of 3 to 5 grams per day. Taking more won't turn you into the Hulk overnight. It'll just give you expensive pee. Second, thou shalt stay hydrated. I cannot stress this enough. Creatine and water go together like peanut butter and jelly, like squats and sore legs, like me and bad jokes. Aim for at least 8 glasses of water a day. Your muscles and your kidneys will thank you. Third, thou shalt not rely on creatine alone. Creatine is not a substitute for hard work, proper nutrition, or adequate rest. It's like the cherry on top of your fitness sundae. Delicious, but not the whole dessert. Fourth, thou shalt listen to thy body. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Your body is smarter than you think. It's like your car's check engine light. If it comes on, you don't just put a piece of tape over it and keep driving. Fifth, thou shalt not mix creatine with sketchy supplements. Stick to reputable brands and avoid mixing creatine with other performance-enhancing substances. It's not a cocktail, people. Sixth, thou shalt cycle off occasionally. While creatine is safe for long-term use, some people prefer to cycle off for a few weeks every few months. It's like taking a vacation from your vacation. Sometimes you need a break from relaxing, you know? Seventh, thou shalt not expect miracles. Creatine can enhance your performance and help you build muscle, but it's not going to turn you into Arnold overnight. Sorry to burst your bubble, but those Instagram transformations aren't just from creatine. Eighth, thou shalt be patient. It can take a few weeks to see the full effects of creatine. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither are your gains. Ninth, thou shalt inform thy doctor. If you're taking creatine, let your healthcare provider know. It's like telling your hairdresser about that at-home dye job. They need to know to give you the best care. And finally, the 10th commandment, thou shalt enjoy the journey. Fitness should be fun. If you're not enjoying it, you're doing it wrong. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is all great information, but why should I bother with creatine at all? It sounds like a lot of work. Well, my fitness friends, let me tell you why. Creatine is like that friend who always pushes you to be your best self. It's there to help you squeeze out that extra rep, to help you recover faster, to help you build lean muscle mass. It's been studied more than almost any other supplement out there, and the results are clear for most people. The benefits far outweigh the risks. But here's the thing, and I want you to listen closely, because this is important. Creatine is not a magic pill. It's not going to do the work for you. It's a tool, like a good pair of running shoes or a well-balanced protein shake. It's there to support your hard work, not replace it. So, if you're ready to take your fitness journey to the next level, if you're willing to put in the work and follow the safety guidelines we've talked about, then creatine might just be the supplement for you. And remember, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you're moving your body, eating well, and taking care of yourself. Whether that includes creatine or not is up to you. So what do you say? Are you ready to join the creatine crew? To push your limits and see what your body is really capable of? The choice is yours. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. In all this talk about supplements and side effects, it's easy to lose sight of what really matters. Fitness isn't about having the biggest muscles or lifting the heaviest weights. It's about feeling good in your own skin, about challenging yourself, about becoming the best version of yourself. So whether you decide to try creatine or not, remember this: you are capable of amazing things. Your body is a masterpiece, a work of art. Treat it with respect, challenge it, nourish it, and it will take you places you never thought possible. And on that cheesy note, I think it's time to wrap this up. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And hey, drop a comment below if you have any questions about creatine or if you want to share your own experiences. Until next time, stay strong, stay fierce, and keep pushing those limits. This is your favorite creatine source, Combat Creatine, signing off. Peace out, creatine warriors.